You're listening to Fuzzled, the podcast for highly attuned entrepreneurs who want more calm, more clarity, and a business that finally feels good to run. Let's take a breath and dive in. Hi, and welcome back to Fuzzled, the podcast that transforms confusion into calm clarity, one topic at a time. If you've ever landed a PR win, a podcast interview, a feature, a mention in the press, and then wondered, now what? What am I actually meant to do with this? Well, today's episode is for you, my friend. It's going to feel like a deep breath because I'm joined by someone who knows visibility from both sides of the fence, the media side and the business owner side. Amanda Jane specializes in visibility and content strategy. And after more than 20 years working in communications, media, and PR, she spotted a frustrating pattern. Talented business owners would pour their heart into getting media coverage only to watch it disappear within days. Their big moment would come and go, the spotlight faded, and the visibility didn't translate into long-term authority or growth. So Amanda created a system called AMPLIFY to fix exactly that, helping business owners turn one PR win into a sustainable story-led visibility system. Not a one-time high, but an engine. She understands what journalists look for, what founders need, and how to turn attention into opportunity consistently. She's originally from Ireland and is now based in Cheshire and apparently makes the best espresso martinis in the UK. So as we go towards midday on a Friday, this episode might suddenly get lively. And you'll know why. So let's dive to it, shall we? Let's go meet Amanda in the big breakdown. Hi, Amanda. Welcome to the Fuzzle podcast.
Hello, Paul. Thank you for having me. And yes, I do make the best espresso martinis.
Well, it sounds amazing. Absolutely. As someone who's worked in marketing and in agency land as well, we all like an espresso martini, especially on a Friday.
Definitely.
So today we're going to speak about PR and we're going to speak about visibility as well and help people understand it a lot more. So let's get straight into it. You've seen so many people treat PR like the end goal, like the trophy. Why do so many people think of PR in this way?
I think it's such an interesting observation because as business owners, it's seen as the end goal. It's the trophy. Oh, I got in a magazine. Oh, I got on a podcast. Oh, I'm in the newspaper. And a lot of business owners strive to achieve that. And when you achieve it, you put it on your social media and you put it on your website and then nothing happens. And I think a lot of business owners think the door is going to be beaten down by all these new clients. Oh, I saw you in the magazine. I heard your podcast. And unless you're really lucky, that doesn't actually happen. So I'd observed this for years and I thought, well, you can repurpose it, you can dig it out again. But I thought, what if there was a more creative way to look at different angles, be a bit more strategic with that PR win? Wouldn't that be a really good way to wheel it out in a more strategic way, not just blasting it out again, because I think people are worried that it looks a bit braggy. Oh, look at me, I was in this magazine. So it was an observation that I had for a long time. But again, I do think it is perceived as the end goal, the trophy. Yay, I did it. But in reality, what does that actually bring to a business?
So do you think the online world glamorizes the as seen in moment instead of the strategy behind it?
Yeah, I think it does. And I don't want to minimize that because it does bring a level of credibility and it positions your authority immediately if you do have that as seen in. And automatically, subconsciously, we as customers are thinking, oh, well, that person's trustworthy. That person knows their stuff. And you know yourself in doing marketing, you have to constantly see that message before it actually sinks in. But that's not its only purpose. You can educate your client a little bit more, reassert your authority, tie it back to your business goals, reinforce your values. There's so much more to that one piece of PR than just shiny, look at me, didn't I do well?
So it's being able to know how to use that one piece of PR in a long-term sustainable way. which I think we're going to get onto. So when someone does get that PR win, whether it's a feature, an interview, or an article, what stops business owners from doing more with it?
That is so interesting as well. I think when you land your first piece, you go from elation to, oh, what do I do now? So for that little moment, you're in the spotlight and yeah, I'm in the magazine and I'm going to put it on my socials. But I think naturally we think, oh no, I don't want to appear too braggy. I don't want people to think, oh, who does she think she is? And the online world, unfortunately, people will tell you who they think you are. Mm-hmm. And there's a fear maybe of being trolled or getting too big for your boots. And if anyone's familiar with the tall poppy syndrome, if you do get too big for your boots, there's plenty of people that are going to pull you down. But I think not a lot of people focus on the actual content strategy. People look at marketing strategy, sales strategy, all the other strategies. But when you think about your content strategy, you can do it in such a way to go back to your business goals. You can do it in a non-braggy way and extract other angles from that PR win without appearing braggy. And again, braggy, I've got to find a better word than braggy, but reasserting your authority, showing people, demonstrating that you know what you're talking about and weeding it out. Because you don't have to do it as in, here I was in this magazine, here I was in this magazine. You can reflect on it and say things like, things I wish I'd said, what went on behind the lead up to me getting this coverage, and also quote yourself. Sometimes people say quite profound things when they're in the moment. And I think people are afraid of putting themselves out there again and doing the star jumps. Oh, here I am. And as business owners, that is a learning curve. You get a little bit more brave with each piece. And it takes a long time to have that bravery and that confidence. But that first piece is probably, everyone has it. And I just want to say, if you do have that first piece, you have any other PR in your archives, it's still as useful today as it was then. But interestingly, your first piece is the one that people think, oh, what do I do? What do I do now?
It's something new, isn't it? It's taking you into a new place. Yeah, it's interesting what you're saying there. And I think braggy is a great word, by the way. It's certainly a fuzzled type of word that we'd say here. Do you think that confidence is an element here then with entrepreneurs?
Yeah. And when you start out, maybe you have a little bit of confidence and you think, oh, I've got this great idea and this business is going to be great. And then when people don't beat your door down, your confidence drops. And it's so hard being in business because there's so many obstacles. You've got to fail so many times before you succeed. And I wish a lot of people understood that there is a lot of failure, but the failure is opportunities to learn and improve. And you've always got to ask yourself, I may have failed, but what did that teach me? What did I learn? And with each little micro movement, your confidence will grow, because to overcome those failures is success. And that's where your confidence grows. And the longer you're at it, the more your confidence grows. And look around you, look at the people who are doing well. I can pretty much guarantee you they're not as confident as they look. And they will have their moments alone where they're thinking, what am I doing? I feel like a failure. They're going to find me out soon. That's imposter syndrome. But you've got to remember why you entered business in the first place. Self-belief plays a massive part. You've always got to remember that. And there will be a lot of people around you that will try and tear you down, but confidence is so important. But having that self-belief, it's got to be rock solid. But that's got to sustain you when you are having those doubts about your own confidence. But anybody that's successful, they will have their moments of doubt as well. But you've got to try your hardest to cling on to that confidence.
Yeah, I think self-belief is a superpower, isn't it? Self-belief and resilience. I also find that self-belief comes, obviously it's in yourself, but once you have clarity on your own proposition and your mission and who you want to help and all those types of business strategy things like your mission, vision and values, you need clarity on that. And then you can have more self-belief in actually what change you're looking to help people go through. So with PR then, you mentioned that you have one PR piece which you put out there, and then you were alluding to how you could use that again so you can get quite a lot of traction from one PR piece, basically. So some people listening might think, isn't that just repurposing? And it might be. So is turning one PR moment into a long-term visibility system, is that different to repurposing, or is it something else?
Great question. And repurposing is a part of it. So my strategy, my Amplify strategy is a lot more than repurposing. So if I talk you through my process, so it's Amplify, and that is my framework. And my marketing is to position this concept as a brand story house. So if you think about your piece of PR as something precious that you've earned, and we'll break it down into where one PR moment becomes a signature story collection. So we're going to look at it as something very precious and something that we're going to break down even further. So I'll talk you through how it actually works. So each element of my Amplify framework is broken down into rooms. So the first room is the A for the archive room. So the first thing we do is we audit your moment and we break it down, and every collection begins with its original piece. And that's where we break it down and uncover everything that's in that particular piece. We look at the quotes, angles, themes, what was going on there, what else can we extract that your audience hasn't heard yet. And before a masterpiece is expanded, we study it and we look a little bit deeper, because there will be other nuances in that piece that didn't necessarily come out. And that's where we get the gold. I always say to people, you're sitting on an absolute gold mine. And I've tested this on just one line statements in PR that people have actually had. So the next room is M. That's where the message extraction studio, and that's where we mine the message bank. So what did you say? What were your opinions? What other angles were there? What were your quotable moments? And we look for emotional hooks and other micro stories that could become further content. So the next room is P. That's the design suite. That's where we do the repurposing. That's why it's only a part of this strategy. And this is where your PR moment becomes a collection. That's where we start building the reels, carousels, email, other scripts, podcast angles. So you're starting to build the strategy, and it's becoming much more than just resharing that PR piece. And each piece is intentionally designed and aligned with your brand voice and your business goals, and particularly what your offer is at that moment in time as well. And the next room, that's your lookbook lab. That's where we lay out all your visibility assets. So that's where everything's curated. It's mapped out to guide your audience through a consistent narrative. And that's where you're building your trust and desire for people to want to work with you, and your authority is building there as well. And this is where your months start to flow, where I said I can build content between 30 and 90 days. It starts to flow beautifully, cohesively and confidently. So you can start to see this picture. These rooms are creating your content. So the next room, the iconic identity gallery. I love this. I've been really creative with this, haven't I? So this is where you infuse your brand voice with your identity. So this is where it becomes you. And it's very, very clear who you are. And you're not blending in with anybody else, because we all have our own brand voice. So the story becomes unmistakably yours. And in this room, everything is infused with your tone, your values, your energy, everything that you're bringing to your clients, your personality, and most importantly, your signature style, because no one else can be you. That is uniquely yours. And that's where your audience begins to recognize your voice instantly, even when your name isn't attached to it. So room F, the fitting room, this is where we finalize and format everything. Final refinement, tailoring, and elegance. And every content piece is shaped until it sits on your brand perfectly. Polished, intentional, and ready for visibility. So there's nothing sloppy. Everything is fixed perfectly for you. Expert storytelling, fitted with precision. And then finally, room Y. This is where we get you onto the catwalk to showcase everything that we've already done. So your content collection is ready for release. You've got your posting plan, distribution strategy, amplification system, and your visibility rhythm as well. And that's where your story is no longer a PR moment. It's a movement.
I love that. Yeah, and a movement's so powerful. That's a great way to take people through from confusion to clarity, I think. Everyone loves a framework. It makes it a lot less daunting, doesn't it? I've never really heard of a PR framework, so I think that's going to be really valuable to lots of entrepreneurs. Just a final question for you. What would you like people to learn or understand more about PR? What's one of the misconceptions that people have about PR that maybe you get a little bit frustrated about sometimes?
I wish people knew that PR isn't just for celebrities, and I think there's sometimes the perception that, it's appearing in these glossy magazines with the stylist and makeup and all of that. And it's not that at all. It's just getting a little bit more visibility. And, it can be on a podcast. It can be in a local newspaper. It can be going out networking, getting the opportunity to speak. And it really isn't just for celebrities. It's just getting people to know more about you. And I think that hopefully to demystify that fear. And you can do your own PR as well. You can reach out to other platforms and anything local to start you off. And as your business grows, you can work with the professionals that will get you into those magazines. And if your business goes well, that is absolutely where you need to be. But you don't have to be at that level to start getting PR for yourself. And think about the hundreds of thousands of publications, newspapers, radio stations, podcasts that need the content that you can provide from your business. People want to talk to you. People want to hear what you have to say. They want to know about your product because people want to buy your product. And there is a platform for what you have to say. So don't think that that isn't for you. It is absolutely for you. And it's not just for celebrities or the big players in your industry. It is absolutely for you if you have a business.
I love how you mentioned there how there are so many online publications now. Yeah. So we might have all grown up in the 70s and 80s, perhaps, if you're the same age as me, where, there were newspapers. Everyone kind of got newspapers or magazines from the newsagents kind of thing. But it's about not having that mindset anymore. There's so many online publications, aren't there? And there's so many online publications in your particular niche as well. I guess it just takes a little bit of research to understand, well, who are the kind of specialist or niched publications that would be interested in my stories as a thought leader. Okay, so let's move on then to the next part of the show. From the big breakdown, we'll go to Buzzword Bingo. So this is one of my favourite parts of the show, where we call out some of the marketing acronyms that are quite confusing. Sometimes we don't need so many acronyms in marketing and buzzwords as well. I think they just add to the confusion, really, for many people. So today we're going to talk about a word that gets thrown around constantly online. I'm not going to reveal it myself. I'm going to go over to yourself, Amanda. What buzzword would you like to talk about today?
Well, I have chosen the word visibility, and I use that word a lot. But I think when I first started my business and I was researching and I did the courses, I remember feeling fear with that word and thinking, visibility, what does that mean? Do I have to talk on stages? Do I have to go and be visible everywhere? And as my business has grown, I've come to understand that while it is those things, it can be other smaller things. And I like the word micro, micro things. Yep. Mm-hmm. So I've actually created my own visibility weekly planner, and I use it religiously. And in that, I remind myself, it's like tick boxes and lists, but I remind myself to show up on social media, not just to sell, but to engage meaningfully, to talk to people on social media. Hi, how are you? Oh, that's a great post. That resonated with me. And that's visibility, because we're so focused on our own business objectives. I think sometimes we forget to actually talk to people and comment meaningfully on what it is that they're actually posting. And so that's a part of visibility. And joining networking groups or joining online, that has been such a massive game changer for us. You don't physically have to travel hundreds of miles. So many networking opportunities, and so many opportunities that aren't even called networking opportunities, meetups, joining groups, talking to people that have similar interests to you. If your sole goal is, I'm going to meet people to sell my stuff, you're unlikely to sell your stuff. So it's great to just be friendly, be authentic, turn up and literally just talk to people. And having spent over 20 years working in communications, building relationships and working really hard on those relationships, that's definitely something that I've come to understand, that visibility is simply that, just talking to people, genuinely being interested in what they have to say and building those relationships. I talk to people about my espresso martini expertise, my cats, my children, Ireland. I like to travel. And then that's when people will say, oh, I mentioned you to another person. Whereas if I'm suddenly going in saying, oh, well, I sell this product, I'm really good at it, no one's going to be interested. So I think to demystify the word visibility, it's not the scary word that it appears. Just start showing up as yourself and be the human, not the perfect human. Just show up, talk about what your business is if you made a mistake that day, and be human. Because I know that when I see it on social media, if someone posts, oh, this is a massive fail, I will comment and say, I'll give an example. Actually, someone recently put on Facebook that there was a typo in their email header and they were mortified. And I commented, you know what? That's actually a good thing. It proves your email wasn't written by AI. So hopefully I eased that person's burden, but it was just a genuine comment. So I think visibility needs to be reworded somehow.
Yeah, it's a mindset shift, isn't it, around visibility? I think it means something different to many different people. I love how you were saying about saying something that is meaningful. So meaningful visibility, especially like in social media comments, where you can sometimes tell that people are just commenting just for the algorithm, just to be seen. But if you've actually put a comment that is a bit more substantive, I think people take notice of that as well. I don't think we need to say anything more about it. It might confuse the matter. So meaningful visibility is definitely where it's at. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next section of the show, which is what would Amanda do? Okay, Amanda, so imagine if you were starting from scratch with your visibility approach. You've got no email list, no audience, no PR wins yet. What would you do first?
What would Amanda do? I put that on a t-shirt. So going back to the beginning, I definitely think, and this is still a core belief of mine, it actually goes back to relationships and conversations. I absolutely think we should listen to what people are asking for. And again, going back to my career background, everything is in vocabulary and everything is in what people say. And being a writer as well, vocabulary is like DNA to me. I deconstruct what people say and I can find the meaning. And actually, everything you need to know is in what people say. So if you're starting a business, I think it's easy if you've got a set profession, if you're a lawyer or an accountant, that there's a set delivery there. But if you're in something a little bit more creative, study what people are saying online. Look at their struggles. What is it that they need? And I'm not reinventing the wheel here. We all know that, if people are wanting design services or whatever. But look further. What is their pain? What are they not able to do? I've had a client recently that has a great business, but really struggled with the basics of pulling the copy together, pulling design together. And whereas most people would assume that, oh, anyone can do that. Oh, anyone can use Canva. Anyone can write copy or just get AI to do it. That person just didn't know where to start. And if you can brings in neurodivergence as well. Not everybody has the same skill set, but if you listen deeply to what it is people actually need, I think you can craft your product and, be in the right rooms, be on the right forums, but the vocabulary and listen deeply and again, have more conversations. And people will be so happy to tell you what their struggles are and be honest with them and say, oh, I'm looking at my next product. I'd really like to know what would actually help you. And I've done that. I've been in forums and I've said to people, this is my go-to question. I always say, if you had a magic wand, what would you like to be able to do? What do you need? And that magic wand question opens people's imaginations and they come out with fantastic stuff. But sometimes you can meet that need. It might be impossible to them, but it may also be possible for you as a business owner. So to answer your question, what would Amanda do? Again, have more conversations, listen deeply, listen to the vocabulary clues and niche down, just be very, very specific, but talk to people.
So having more conversations, absolutely. Conversations lead to opportunities. What types of conversation, or where would you have those conversations? Are we talking about going into DMs, or are we talking about going to in-person networking events or something else?
I'm in a lot of communities. I'm on a big community on school and also Facebook. I go into groups, and if I see something, I will comment or I'll ask a question. If networking, I do as much as I can, and just anywhere. On Instagram, I love Instagram. It's really good because people, you can, it's all there, isn't it? But anywhere where people are hanging out, and I try to go to a lot of events that are in my industry, and then you get to know people a little bit more. But then they'll come back and ask me, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I have lots of conversations. And if you're generous with your time, and if you're generous with your advice, people will come back to you for the work and they'll recommend you. My discovery calls, a lot of people, they're 15, 20 minutes and that's it. I've had discovery calls that have lasted 90 minutes because I've sat with people and mapped things out. And I really want to be known as the person that's generous with their time. But again, it's just simply that. And all of us have a network. All of us mostly probably use social media. But you can have a conversation anywhere. And even mums at the school gate, there's a lot of people that have set up, side hustle. And I'm not sure I like that term, but I kind of get it. Just listening to what people are struggling with. And again, the devil's in the detail. Just listen to the vocabulary and remember that magic wand question.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a skill, isn't it, though, listening, especially active listening. So that's a good skill to have. Sometimes we can overthink it, and it's just about building rapport initially and just chatting to people and seeing where people want to go with the business and if you can help. I think that magic wand question is great. It brings back images actually of my daughter when she was little, dressed as a princess, doing the magic wand. I can hear the sound now. So that's a great way of doing it, though. If you could have a magic wand or 3 wishes, what would you do? Okay, love that. So now we know what Amanda would do. It's pretty straightforward, really, to certainly get started anyway. Just have more conversations and actually listen to people and what they're actually saying and the intent behind what people are saying and where they want to go in their business. Okay, let's move on then to the final section of the show, which is marketing fails and holy moly moments. So we always end with marketing fails and holy moly moments, and it's really to share some stories to remind us that we're all human, basically. So Amanda, what have you got for us?
Well, thinking about this marketing fail, on reflection, it probably wasn't. So I'll just tell the story and you can decide.
Go for it, yeah. To hear.
It was quite a while ago now, and I was doing some work for a client who was doing an advertising campaign, and I was looking at radio, and it's rarely in your own area, so I'm ringing around an area I didn't know, and I was looking for their media packs and advertising rates, and I was making calls, and rang radio station. A chap answered, and I asked my question, could you send me through your advertising rate, your media pack, whatever? And he said, okay, and we chatted a little bit. And then he put me live on the radio while I was on the call. And he just started saying, it's Amanda. And she's working for someone today. She's a freelancer. And he just said, tell everyone what you do. Tell us all about you. So I just thought, right, this can go one of 2 ways. I can hang up, or I can style it out and front it out and just go with it. So that's exactly what I did. Thought, yes, typical of me. So I just told him about my business, what I did. I have talked about my children. And at that point, I was working around them. They were at school. And I just thought, who makes a call and ends up live on the radio? And I thought, yeah, that's me. And but that's why I thought maybe it wasn't such a fail after all. It was an opportunity that landed right in my lap. But yeah, I thought, style it out. You're just here in the moment. Let's just keep talking.
Definitely, yeah. So it sounds like if something can happen like that, it's going to happen to Amanda. And
absolutely,
I think that's it's not a fail. It's not a marketing fail. That one, I think that's a proper holy moly moment. So a holy moment is an epic win. Basically, let's reframe it as that. I think a lot of people might freeze in that situation, or as you say, kind of put the phone down, kind of scream. But that's great. to have been on the radio and tell more people about yourself. A bit of free advertising time.
Absolutely. It can cost a fortune.
Absolutely. I'll lap it up. So yeah, this is a reminder to embrace opportunities. So we don't need to plan things all of the time. Sometimes it's about just seeing where life takes us and taking the opportunities that come our way. So let's move on to some of the freebies that Amanda's got to share as well. So before we go on to that, I just wanted to say thank you as well. So thank you, Amanda, for being here. I think this has been full of a lot of clarity and strategy and a different way of looking at and thinking about PR as well. So not as a trophy moment, but fuel, really, fuel for long-term authority and growth. So, yeah, if you'd like to have a deeper dive, where can people find you? And I know you've got a freebie to share as well, which we'll put in the show notes.
Yes, thanks, Paul. My website is amandajane.co.uk. And on the homepage, you can download my freebie, and that is the Ultimate Amplify Your PR Planner. And that will guide you step by step with one piece of PR and how to get 4 weeks of content out of that. So I've really broken it down into an easy step-by-step program to try the system yourself and see what you can do with one piece of PR. So it's amandajane.co.uk.
It sounds so valuable, the PR planner there. So yeah, as I say, check it out. We'll put the link there to the PR planner in the show notes. So before I sign off, I just wanted to say thank you, Amanda, for coming on to the Fuzzled podcast. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Great stuff. And if you are a fuzzler as well, listening in, who wants to turn a visibility into confusion, then come and join us. Come and check out the Fuzzled Academy. That's your pathway to step-by-step clarity in terms of marketing and business growth. Or have a look at the Fuzzled blog as well for deeper guidance and practical tools. Again, I'll put all the links in the show notes. So as always, thank you for listening. And remember, structure beats hustle every time. Thanks for listening to Fuzzled, where structure beats hustle every time. If today brought you clarity, you'll love my weekly Friday feeling emails. Calm, honest reflections with practical steps to help you grow without the overwhelm. Join the Marketing Clarity Club at paulculshaw.com and I'll see you in your inbox. Take care and keep choosing calm over chaos.